Okay, on our first one here. If a number is added to its square, the result is 56. Find the number. Okay? So x is going to represent the number that we're looking for. Alright, so I'm going to pull it apart piece by piece. If a number is added to, so we're going to plus x. We're adding it to something. We're adding a number to something. If a number is added to, so we're adding it to its square, which means x squared. The result is, there's my equals, 56. So there's my setup. If a number is added to, so that means you're going to plus x, add it to something. I'm going to add it to its square, which is x squared. The result is equals 56. And now we're going to solve it like we just did the questions we did. Subtract your 56. So x squared plus x minus 56 equals 0. Factor, no common factor to take out. Looks like plus 8 and minus 7. Which means that my possible solutions are negative 8 or positive 7. And if you double check those, if you add negative 8 to the square, 64, you'll get 56. And if you add 7 to 49, you'll get 56. Okay, question on that one. I can't emphasize this next thing enough. See that word, that adjective. Ignore in the setup. Very important to ignore that word when you're setting up the equation. We'll pay attention to it when we're answering the question, but when we are setting this up, anytime they tell you anything about positive or negative numbers, ignore that word in your setup because it confuses people, especially when they put the word negative there. Okay, so ignore it. So, a number is 30 less than its square. Find the number. So once again, we're looking for a number. So x is my number. So a number, so x, is equals 30 less than, subtract 30, its square, x squared. So a number, x, is equals 30 less than, means I'm subtracting 30 from its square, x squared. So we're going to solve. So I'm going to bring my x to the right instead of bringing that other stuff to the left. It keeps my square positive. So I have 0 equals x squared, then my x term, then my constant. And then I factor, no common factor. So x times x. One of each sign. 6 times 5. Make sure you place the numbers correctly so that you get the negative 1. So that's negative 6 on the outside. Positive 5 gives me my negative 1. Which makes my possible solutions negative 5 or positive 6. Now I pay attention to the word positive. So these are the possible solutions, but they're looking for a positive number. So from there, my answer is 6. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to change that. Right like that. 6. 6 is my answer. That's where you pay attention to the word positive, or should they write the word negative. The previous question, both answers worked. They didn't specify what they wanted. This one, they specified, I want a positive number. Okay, anything you wanted me to clear up on those two before I go to rectangles? Anything on those two you want me to clear up? Okay. The length of a rectangle is 8 centimeters greater than its width. I will tell you that the thing I find that people miss the most on these is they don't read carefully enough. Okay, because sometimes it might say 8 greater than twice the width, or 8 greater than 3 times the width, or 6 less than 5 times the width. So make sure you're reading all of the words, okay? This one describes the length, which means they tell me nothing about the width, so we begin with x on the width. So whichever dimension they're not describing is where you begin with x. Then it says the length is 8 greater than its width. No twice, no 3 times, just 8 greater, which means add 8. Find the dimensions if the area is 105. Area, 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 not perimeter. So length times width multiplied together equals 105. So area, length times width, not a perimeter here. Okay, so we solve. We do have parentheses and it's not equal to 0, so we are going to get rid of them. And I'll bring the 105 over at the same time, because I'm going to have to do that anyway. I have no idea what this one is. Anybody know off the top of their head that one?
15 is 7.
Thank you. So x squared, x times x. Minus means one of each term. We got some help from the peanut gallery. 15 times 7. That gives me my positive 8 in the middle. Making my possible solutions negative 15 and positive 7. I can eliminate one of those solutions. Which one? Come on!
Negative.
The negative. You can't have a negative dimension. This dimension can't be negative 15. Negative 15 can't work. So that means the width is 7. And the length, 8 plus 7, or 15. I should put a dimension on there. A unit of measure, I mean. I wouldn't take off, but I should at least do it. Okay, question on that one? Do I just have 2 more left? Okay, I'm going to come back to this next one in a second. I'm going to go to the other rectangle one first. Originally, the dimensions of a rectangle were 20 by 23. When both dimensions were decreased by the same amount, the area of the rectangle decreased by 120. Okay, so I'm going to start with my original. The original rectangle was 20 by 23. So I'm going to take that now and decrease. Decrease means what operation? Subtraction. So I'm going to decrease both dimensions by the same amount. X represents the amount that you're decreasing. You don't know, I gotta check my time. You don't know what it is, but it's the same on both. So decrease, subtract as you just told me, 23 minus x and 20 minus x then. So that's my new rectangle. Now, it says then that the area is decreased by 120. So this is 120 square centimeters smaller than this one. Okay, now don't be thinking like the ones we did before with the border and stuff where you take the large minus this. It's not the same thing. Okay, so don't be thinking that way. Okay? But I need to know the area of this rectangle. How am I going to get it? Caroline?
Find the area of the big one and then subtract 120.
There you go. You know the exact dimensions here. So you can find the area of this one. You know the exact dimensions. So 23 times 20 means this has an area of 460. And the new one is decreased by 120. So take 120 from 460 and you get 340. And then I set up my equation using that second rectangle. Length times width equals my area. So 23 minus x times 20 minus x equals 340. This one's a tough one. So I FOIL and I get 460 minus 23x minus 20x plus x squared. And I'm going to have to bring the 340 over to get it equal to 0, so I'll go ahead and do that on that step. So I FOIL that out, and I bring over my 340. Let's rearrange and collect. So my x squared is going to come first. 23 and 20, 46x minus 46x. And then 460 minus 340 is a positive 120 equals 0. What I do?
Minus 43.
43. I don't know. Thank you. I'm thinking ahead, and I don't know why I was doing my factors already. So x times x. Both my terms are minus. You might have to think a little bit to get this one. But it's 40 times 3. 40 times 3 is 120. Also gives me my negative 43. Which makes my possible solutions 40 and 3. I can eliminate one of those. Now it's not negative, so not maybe is an obvious one, but think about this. If the dimension's only starting at 20 and 23, I can't decrease it by 40. So my x value is 3. Now that's not the answer. Make sure you answer what they're asking. Find the dimensions of the new rectangle. So they want the dimensions of this rectangle. So the width is 20 minus 3, or 17 centimeters. And the length is 23 minus 3, or 20 centimeters.